Get a load of this! This is the next ranking of Sonic voice actors, and what other characters would it be other than Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, the main antagonist, who is just as old as Sonic because he debuted along with Sonic in Sonic the Hedgehog 1991. And he has had quite a few voice actors, including one live-action actor, which I am counting for this rank down because I feel weird about that guy. Eggman, as much like Sonic, actually has pretty good voice actors. Eggman's a bit harder to rank than Sonic, though, because there are different types of Eggmans or Robotniks. There are more serious versions, there are more comedic, and there are in the middle. How do I rank them? Well, I'm ranking them based off of how well they are in their version of the character, and also they have to have a mix of waxer, comedic, and more seriousness. They have to fit the domain. Basically, if they work, they get bonus points if they work in well in whatever version of their character they're playing, and if they're actually pretty accurate to the main character. The main character is not just comedic or just serious, he's both, which is why Eggman's a pretty interesting villain. So this is going to be was a little hard for me to rank. I know I number 1 and 2, but ranking the others were very hard for me. So let's get into this list.
The fabled Velocity.
At the bottom of the list, we have Gary Chalk, who voiced Robotnik in Sonic Underground. Now, I never really watched Sonic Underground, so that's probably why he's so low, but also his voice does not stand out. It's very, it's just there. It's a very, interesting, version of the character. It's the same design from the Sonic SatAM show, but it's different. It's more comedic, but not at the same time. It just doesn't stick out. It's not... Eggman's supposed to be like memorable. He stands out. He's an egg-shaped man. He's an evil scientist, but here it's definitely the least memorable version of the character. So for that, he's at the bottom of the list. A fun fact about this guy is that he voiced a Grounder in the Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog. So there you go.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? Good to see you again, Sonic.
Coming in next spot is Edwin Neal. He voiced Dr. Eggman, or Robotnik in this case, in the OVA. And he stands out. He has some memorable lines, but he's not... Let's just say he's a little weak. I'll just say his Eggman is it's very shapely, has an egg shape. I don't know what that means. But this one doesn't stand out as well. I mean, there's like... There are some... He has some good, interesting lines, I guess, but his Eggman Robotnik are just like it's pretty typical. Nothing stand out. Doesn't go above and beyond. So for that, he's second to bottom. This one is kind of what next voice actor is really, really hard to rank because it's technically a really good voice, but does it fit the character? No, and that would be...
We're home, Clark. I do miss the beauty of this place when I'm away.
Jim Cummings voiced the character in the Sonic SatAM show. Now, Jim Cummings is the best voice actor on this list by a landslide. I know his other stuff. He's really, really good. I would look up him because he does a lot of voices, and his version of Robotnik is very, very different. When I said serious, this is the I would consider that. It's not comedic at all. It's very different character, and he pulls it off well. But however, this is not the version of the character when you think of the character. So that's why he's lower, because this voice would not fit. Like, I don't think most of the other versions. Now, some people will like that to have more his version, but just he's the Eggman. He's supposed to have a little of a comedic side. He's really good, but I cannot see this voice in the other version of this character. So that's why he's here rather than higher. Up next,
I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tell me where it is.
Wait! Don't hurt him!
we have a live-action actor, and that's Jim Carrey, who played him in live action in the Sonic movie, and he was pretty good. This is also very unique. This is the only version of this character that works. a lot of these Eggmans, they can't cross over. That's why the higher we go up, the more I think these guys are better. But Jim Carrey's the last one I think that he really works for his version. It is a very standout. It was one of the standout performances from the film. The character doesn't really look like you would expect him to look until the very end of the film. As you know, that scene we all knew was gonna be the end of the film from the trailers. But he's very he does the comedic and he also does the serious side, both of them. He actually does pull off the interesting side of the character that we haven't really seen before. He doesn't really have the look, but he definitely has the feel of the character, what this guy would actually be like. He gives the character a little bit of depth, surprisingly, even for a comedic role. But Jim Carrey does a pretty good job. I'm glad he stopped doing weird stuff. I mean, when I'm talking about weird, I mean like, not typical weird, but like more. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And decided to go back to his roots, and this is a good role, and it's actually pretty good. So if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. If you're a Sonic fan, I don't know why you haven't watched it. If you're a Sonic fan, you probably already saw it. Alright, we got to the top 3. Number 3
Snooping as usual, I see.
is Long John Baldry. He voiced the character in The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and this guy is a very, let's just say, we all know this Eggman. This guy, like, he might be the best, but his line delivery is so legendary. His lines are amazing. He's up there with the top 2. Like, I actually can see this version too in the video games in a way. It wouldn't be my ideal, but I just like this guy's voice a lot. He did a really great job. His version of the character is really it stands out. The design's weird but that's not him. That's his voice chops though. It's just a really fun performance, and it's iconic too. People know this version a lot. He's been memed to death. That's why he's number 3, because I can see this character, even though he's not serious at all, this guy, he can work as I can see this version, this voice at least working for other versions of this character. Okay, so we have all the guys that I just call, those guys are all good, but those guys are like the ones that, I just don't really, I like, but I'm not the ones I really think that when I think of the Eggman. These up next 2 are what, when I think of the Egghead, I think of these 2. Deciding between these guys is really hard, but...
You fool. Away, before I make mincemeat out of you.
Number 2 is going to be Deem Bristow, who voiced the character in the video games from 1999 to 2004. This is the first guy we have voiced the character in the video games, and he did an amazing job. This guy, I mean, I think the top 3 have like a very iconic line, but he has some great lines as Eggman. He has some comedic stuff. And he's really good at the serious side, even though some of the stuff, especially in Sonic Adventure, well, he has some really not so well hit lines in Sonic Adventure, but then again, not a lot of actors did. He has some great lines. I loved him in Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Hero is good. Love this guy. He's very, you feel that evil. You also feel like that egg, that gleefulness, and it's like, he's the Eggman. He's so good. But oddly enough, I don't have him as number 1, which is really odd because this is the Eggman I grew up with. That just doesn't happen much. You won't see an adventure voice actor not be number 1 most of the time. But the reason why is because he's very good. He's actually pretty good at being a serious Eggman and unintentionally funny. But in Sonic Heroes, I feel like there's a line I feel like could have been funnier if the number 1 guy voiced him. And while Deem Bristow is really good, and I gotta say R.I.P. to him, as well as Long John Baldry, I don't know how to say her name. But yeah, unfortunately, he passed away right before the new guy took over. But luckily, the new guy is is even better, because the new guy...
Success! A brilliant success! It's just as the Gaia manuscripts foretold! The entity that was sealed within the planet has awakened. Now I just need to harness its power. Eggman Land will finally come to be!
As you guys probably predicted, he's going to be number 1, is Mike Pollock, who voiced the character He started voicing character in Sonic X 2003, and then he wound up in video games in 2005. And this guy was so good at voicing Eggman that he was not replaced, unlike the other voice actors, which says a lot. Now, I think everyone knows this guy. He's pretty good as Eggman. That's why they kept him on. He is he's the all-around egghead. If you picture like an Eggman voice, you think of this guy. He's the Eggman. I know I said this for a bunch of times. Not the walrus. I'm the Eggman. Goo 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 goo. He's got that Sgt. Pepper jacket. He's got the walrus mustache. There you go. That's Eggman. You wanna know why? Well, one, he has all the best qualities of Deem Bristow and of Long John Baldry. He said Pingus the one time. Pingus. But yeah, I mean, he's just good. He's like one. I mean, I don't know what to say. He's just the best Eggman. He implements all the voice qualities you would want in the character. He has the serious side, and he also has the comedic side. There's a lot of and I think he does an amazing job in every game he's in. And I got not much more to say about this guy because he's just pretty good at his job. I'm so glad that they kept him on to voice the character because he's always a delight to hear his Eggman. And that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. And stay tuned for more ranking videos. Next time when I do the Sonic voice acting, it will be Tails. So have fun and stay safe.